Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, and you, my sweet friend. You're here. You're in my house. Make yourself cozy. Make yourself comfy. Grab a cup of tea, or maybe water, or, it doesn't have to be tea or water. I mean, look what's back there, man. Look what's back there. This is not typically the location from which I broadcast my transmissions, but hey, when the heat rises, the Little Readers sink. So somebody write that down. We've got, it'll be me. I'll be the one writing it down. We've got this beautiful, particularly in this light, smoky quartz crystal. I am a nerd for the rocks, and I like to have them. I like to have them around when I do channeling, when I do anything, to be honest. They're just beautiful, beautiful pieces of earth. And look at that. To believe that this was produced by the planet is wild. But then that gets me thinking, you were produced by the planet too. And that's a beautiful thing. So let's take a moment of appreciation for you, my friend. The transmission was coming in bits and pieces as I was setting up the scene for this moment. And the sentence that came through, and I'd be curious to know if this applies to you, was, have you ever had a near-death experience? I have not, that I know of. But maybe you have. I'd love to know the details if you're willing and open to sharing them. The reason that Spirit was bringing that through is because evidently we have near-death experiences in every moment. In fact, according to the Great Divine coming through this vessel today, every moment is a near-death experience because we're always near death. We have that figure, the Grim Reaper. We've all got many of us do, maybe you don't, but many of us have a mental image of what the Grim Reaper looks like. And the popular storytelling is that when it's time to claim a soul, the Grim Reaper shows up and reaps, for lack of a better word. But today, Spirit says, that's not how it works. The Grim Reaper is more like the ever-present divine, and it's ever-present. We're having all these near misses without realizing they're near misses. We're driving in vehicles, not aware of how many times there could have been a possible collision. We are handling sharp objects without realizing how many times there could be a slip. We are walking across streets. We are eating substances, food, beverages, under the good faith that they are devoid of toxic or poisonous substances. We're taking trips, we're boarding planes, we're getting on boats, and even if we live in the most insulated reality because we're hyper aware and maybe even mentally fixated on the possibility of danger and death, which I'm hearing some are, even in those insulated bubbles, we don't realize how when it's time, it's time. But until it's time, it's not time. Make that make sense, Spirit. It's always good to throw down the gauntlet to Spirit, offer a little challenge. Make that make sense for our minds, if you don't mind. That's funny. That whole thing about throwing down the gauntlet, that's exactly what Spirit is doing with death, with us. Life is the gauntlet being thrown down to the divinity within. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, beautiful soul, this could be your first voyage into the Little Reader's House, to which I say thank you. It's a pleasure, privilege, and honor to have you. Round these parts, we're all about realizing and remembering that our true identity is the divine light of awareness, and we are simply in possession and stewardship of a mind, a heart, and a form, also known as a body. Our divine mission? Infuse love into each of those realms. Love into the mind, love into the heart, love into the form. Our source for that love? The heart itself, as a portal from which infinite love flows, blasts out. We're very unfamiliar with this. We're never trained in this. We're not taught about this, and that's okay. Spirit's not judging. It's no one's fault. It's just how our evolutionary process has unfolded thus far. Hence, your humble host. We open the door of the heart. We discover unlimited love. We breathe it into the mind. We diffuse it across the body. We share it with this realm of heart. We keep it open. We keep it flowing. And we live courageously, knowing that our safety is carried with us all the time. And even when we lay this body down and this mind and this heart, we'll take that white light with us to rejoin the whole. Given that it is the whole, light is light is light, to say rejoin the whole could be erroneous anyway. But you get me. So, I said in a teasing fashion earlier, you throw down the gauntlet to Spirit, give Spirit a challenge. Spirit throws that back down and says, I did. That's life. It's your challenge to live courageously. To understand that when it's time, cannot be avoided, not meant to be. And everything leading up to that moment, no matter how neurotic the mind is about attempting to predict that, either with diet, with health, with wellness, with spirituality, with medical interventions, or with technology, irrespective of the mind's relationship to mortality, and believe me, that's a whole topic for another time, my sweet friend. The challenge that Spirit has issued to Spirit, because that's what the divine light within you, that is you, is. You are divine. The challenge that the great all that is has given to the great all that is within you is, how courageously will you live? And we have this understanding of courage as an action. Well, look at me. I'm walking a tightrope line between the two tallest skyscrapers. I don't know what a skyscraper is. Skyscrapers are, and, drop your location. Courage. Or, I asked that person out that I really had the feels for. Courage. Or I went for that job offer. Or I bought that house. Or I made that move. Or I left that relationship. I chose better. Courage, courage, courage. And Spirit isn't saying that courage isn't an action. Courage is often the byproduct. Action is often the byproduct of courage. Action is often the byproduct of courage, but courage isn't the action itself. What courage is, according to Spirit in this moment, is how open is your heart now? Not how open will you make it later when you're in your favorite comfort zone. Ooh, cut me deep. Or not how open it was, 2 years ago before it got smashed and broken by an individual whose heart was well closed. Courage is how open is your heart now. Ahora. Okay, I gotta throw the Spanish in there like I speak it. Not until the tequila starts flowing, my friend. How open is your heart now? That's courage. The awareness of that. It's not even opening it. Whoa. It's not even in the opening. Because again, that's action. It's not in the doing. It's in the awareness of how open your heart is now. You can acknowledge it is shut tight, baby. Clammed. Slammed, sealed, not delivered or signed. It's just shut. Because I like it that way. That's how I stay alive in this realm. Or so your mind would say. Or you can say, man, that thing's blasted open. It's shining at everyone and everything like a beam of light. It drips love into every scenario, every circumstance, pleasant or insufferable. And spirit's no judge, because the spirit, all is well, all is perfection. So if you can be aware of that, that's the courage piece. That's living fully. You don't have to change a thing. That's the gauntlet that spirit's thrown down to us. It's all a near-death experience. Whether it's obvious to us or not. Whether we flatlined on the table or not. We don't know how close we come. We don't know the proximity of death to us. Well, spirit knows. It's this close. That close. It's life is permeable to death. They have a relationship that intellectually we can't understand. Well, potentially we can. Potentially that's a future transmission. But we can feel it. We can skip the intellectual understanding and go straight to the totality of the experience. And we can find that in courage. And by witnessing our own openness or closedness, whatever degree, slam shut, open wide, doesn't matter. By witnessing it and choosing to be aware of our heart in the now moment, wherever it takes us. Now in the shower, now at a party, now in the office, now at the warehouse, now in the bedroom, now in the kitchen, now in the car, on the bus, at the wedding, in the divorce court. It was kind of a bleak transition. Ooh. At the hospital. On the corner of nowhere. And even further nowhere. That's courage. And that awareness of this space may lead to inspired action. It just might. Does that mean that being aware of your heart changes your destiny? Does that mean you're missing out if you don't start a loving kindness practice? No. It's not about changing your destiny. It's not about being the cause to the effect. It's just about finding wholeness in this moment. About being able to love your fate. That is a Stoic principle. Amor fati. Now, what that love does to your destiny, I am not permitted to speak on that. That's for you to potentially discover. But again, screw the future. Kiss the past. Can we be here now? Knowing that the rest is taken care of. Really taken care of. That's Spirit's invitation for you today, my sweet friend. And that's where we're going to leave it. As always, it has been a blessing to me to spend time with you. Thank you for being here. If you want to spend more time with the Little Reader, maybe even getting to know this heart space, we got Patreon, $1.11. If you want to add a couple of zeros to that number, you and I can spend one-on-one time, or maybe even meet twice a week. Guided coaching, guided healing presence. That's down there too. It's all waiting for you if you feel the pull, beautiful soul. But until we meet again, however and wherever that is, I'm sending you all of the love I've got. Always more and never less, because you are so very worthy of it. Bye for now.